What's going on, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, podcast number 4. I've got Tierra Brianna. So you guys follow her on Instagram, and that's the only social media she has, really. That's followable.
Just Instagram.
Yeah, so check her out on Instagram, and welcome to the podcast. We've done a little bit of traveling this week, and maybe last week too. So there's been a bunch going on, but last week we were talking about going down to New Orleans. And we said that it may, or I remembered it or recalled it as being a toilet bowl. You said it can't be that bad.
Oh, no, I was dead wrong. It was a legitimate toilet bowl. I have a great video of going through the streets like the morning after, like everybody was out, and it was a garbage can.
No, to be fair, not all the streets, just Bourbon Street.
It was like 1 or 2 streets that were completely trashed.
So Bourbon Street obviously doesn't have coronavirus, which is cool. I'm cool with that. And
they don't?
No, they don't. Or at least if they do, then everybody, the statistics would be significantly higher if there was minimal social distancing, if anything. Masks were sort of optional.
I don't think I saw a single mask.
Yeah.
I was wearing a mask because I was scared out of my mind.
Yeah.
I was a little bit paranoid to like walk around there.
Yeah, it's as I said, it's a smutty place. It's a little dingy. If you can imagine, it attracts like the Jersey Shore crowd attracts like the mutants of like New York, New Jersey, and Staten Island. This, I feel like, gets the mutants from like Alabama and Louisiana all like converge on Bourbon Street.
I can't see how this is a like tourist destination. Like while I was there and I was posting that I was there, people were swiping up and saying, "Oh God, wow, I'm going there in like a couple months. I'm going there this day. Like, let me know where to go." I'm like, This place is terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't recommend going anywhere.
Well,
like here.
Atlantic City is also a tourist destination.
It's bad there too.
But Atlantic City is cool until you go to Vegas. Now, I guess in their defense, it's probably like if you live in like rural Alabama and there ain't anything going on, like that's probably a rootin' tootin' good time.
Yeah.
But I've been there twice. Now this was my 3rd time. Not really my cup of tea.
3 times too many. I'm never going back. I'm not going back there unless I really have to do something for work. There's no reason.
That's why we were there this time. And we make the best of everything. Everything we do, we make the best of. We went. We had some good meals. I met up with an old Bull Run buddy, Dudley Gingerman, and we were kicking back. I think I was on Bull Run 06, 09, 10, and 11 with him.
Wow.
So lots of driving, lots of mischief. And we had a good time. So it was good to sort of reminisce a little bit. And then obviously, like, we know, like, Richard Rawlings before he became famous and everything like that. But while we're having dinner, the head of the restaurant, or the manager of the restaurant is like, boom, right in there, Rob Ferretti fan.
Like, oh my gosh.
So, and I was like, yeah, this guy knows everybody, doesn't he? So it was a good time. We enjoyed it. It was nice to catch up with some old friends. It was nice to drive the track. New Orleans Motorsports Park was a good time.
That was a good track. That was fun.
We are on a quest, and with one of my buddies who is sort of interested in doing it and also funding the operation, we're going to a new racetrack every month this year. So think about that. That's a lot of tracking, and we're gonna hit all the big ones. We're hitting.
Hopefully.
We're shooting for it. The availability on tracks is astonishing to me.
It's so bad. I probably reached out to like 7 tracks today, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're all booked through October, November." I'm like, "Oh, good."
Yeah, but like when you think of racetrack, right? What do you like? I think of a racetrack as something that like sits vacant 20 days a month.
I don't know. I mean, when you start to think about like the different events that racetracks hold, they.
No, I know. And it's
and
like a weekend here, weekend there, random track event here. But like just to fill Monday through Friday at the track, I could see the weekends as being booked. But I feel like 20 days a month, it's 15 days a month that's just sitting there not doing anything. And there's not a lot of overhead because if nobody's at the track, like there's not much to pay for. So
maybe that was before COVID.
I have no
idea.
idea.
COVID changed like
racetracks. When you reach out to a track, I was like, let's get these on the schedule early. And we're calling tracks and like, we have one day, October 2nd.
Oh, yeah. Where I was like, put me down, please.
That's it? The entire year, you have one available day? Like, I can't even negotiate with a place like that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah, Sonoma Raceway is like, oh, we have, we were able to change some things around, and we have October 20th and 21st available now. Everything else is booked till December. I'm like,
And of course, October 20th
yeah.
and 21st is like right when we're doing adventure drives in Scotland.
It's like, well, that will not work for us. So cross that one off.
Your travel schedule. This is like, I mean, this is sort of normal for me, but your travel schedule is going to be insane this year.
It's going to be a little bit packed.
We just have to figure out how to get you paid doing it, because otherwise you're going to have to find a new job, because it's tough to be like, yeah, I'm going to leave like probably like 9 or 10 days a month.
Honestly, half the month I'm already accounting for.
Well, this month, yeah, but like you're talking. I mean, just between leisure travel and adventure drives.
Leisure travel does not exist for me anymore.
Well, and welcome to my world.
Does
so you turn
exist.
business into leisure, and you sort of combine the two. That's
have
why
to.
Adventure Drives is a company.
Yeah.
But like everything involved with the scouting trips and everything, I try to make the best of it. So I try to get paid to essentially have fun.
Yeah.
And that's a good lesson for everybody. Try to do that.
Yeah,
it's
working out like so far.
Yeah,
I feel
you're
like
having a good time.
Yeah, I'm going places that I would normally like voluntarily go to if I wasn't like, say, working or getting paid to do it. So
there's going to be
don't
some
know.
tracks and like places that you probably in Alabama or something where you probably wouldn't have gone to Mobile. And
I know New Orleans would not be on that list.
New Orleans is probably something that you would have had a curiosity for.
No.
You must have. It's just like even I mean, I don't know. Atlanta's not high on my list, but we're going to Atlanta.
I feel like Atlanta's nice. I don't know.
Well, we're not going to be in downtown Atlanta anyway, but there's some nice areas. VinWiki's down there. We'll probably go do some VinWiki stories.
Okay.
It's a big country.
David's down there. Like
David's
some
down
friends
there.
are down
Yep.
there,
Ed
so-
Bolian. We've got some people that do adventure drives are down there. We'll go say hi to them. That's always fun.
So it'd be nice, like little trip.
And I don't know, you like aquariums? I think so.
I like aquariums, like the zoo. If there's a zoo there,
there is.
I would definitely love to
the
do
best
a zoo.
aquarium in the country is there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like whale shark
Do they
aquarium.
You can't. No.
So you're as far as your aquarium schedule this year, you're going to be pretty impressed because
Wow.
the Atlantis has a very cool
We should hit a different aquarium each
No,
time.
I'm not. No, but the aquarium at the Atlantis, the whole place is effectively an aquarium.
Yeah.
So when we go in December, that's going to be a good time.
Oh,
Another
yeah.
fan was working at the Atlantis when I was down there, and he was like, and he was trying to get me out to like the local Bohemian street races, and I'm like, I got to draw the line there.
Hey guys,
like,
this is Rob Ferretti.
I'm like, I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb first off, showing up to Bohemian street races, and like, I can't just leave my family here at the resort and go street racing at night and hope to not get.
That's a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, I'm in a Bohemian jail, being like, hey,
You'd be like, sorry.
Yeah, I'm on. Sorry about that. I was just watching. So.
Yeah, that would not be good.
But yeah, so I mean, you went to Vegas for the first time this year. I remember you're like living my life, just like I'm watching somebody else live my life. Because I was about your age when I went to Vegas for the first time with a buddy, Emil Rensing, who's I said like my mentor at the time. Mm-hmm. He had a fall from grace fairly recently. Matt Farah has some issues with him, but he put me in a position to be where I am now. So I've got to always respect that. And it's good to and remember we just flew back. We were on the back of the plane. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, that's.
But we went down there, it was like my first like actual flight that I remember taking. And he's like, I'm like a little nervous. Like he's like, where do you want to sit? And I'm like, in my head, like the back of the plane was the safest place to sit. So we picked.
Why?
I picked the last row on the plane.
Why would you do that?
And he's like, all right. So, but he's cool about it. He's like, yeah, we'll sit in the last row. It's the worst place to sit on the airplane. You're like the last one to get off. Like you're right next to the toilets.
There's no window. There's no window.
No, that was, we just flew a Spirit back from New Orleans. And because we literally booked the trip to New Orleans on Tuesday and went on Friday or Saturday. So it was a very, very last minute thing. And then the flights were ridiculous. So we flew a connecting flight on Spirit back through Orlando. And we were in the back of the plane. And it's nice when you get spotted on the plane like a big shot. It's like, hey, what's up, big shot? No. But not when you're sitting in the very last row without a window.
Yes,
and the guy in front of you was like, oh, Rob Ferretti. I'm like, yep.
He's like, are you Rob? You're like, I am. I was supposed to be like, no.
Nope, somebody else. Nope, this is me sitting in the back of the plane on Spirit, like driving my Ferraris. But
it's like, what kind of life are you living?
Yeah, I was just racing a 918 around the racetrack. Now, rocking like a connecting flight on Spirit in row 39
with no window.
Yeah.
That was the worst part, especially when landing. I couldn't tell when we were gonna hit the ground.
Yeah,
And-
because you can't see anything.
Oh,
You're like,
no.
yeah.
I was like, all
You
right.
might as well be sitting on the toilet at that point in time.
Well,
and it's so much bumpier in the back. Like the back, I feel
Yeah.
like you feel a lot more of the undulations of the plane.
yeah,
So,
I get sick back there.
so not the best flight experience, but I've made a lot of money on Spirit Airlines stock this year, so I don't really mind. I should have upgraded.
You should
I
have.
should have
I was
spent
gonna
the
say.
coin. But yeah, the stocks are cranking along now, so we'll get it. Like I'm amazed people take stock tips from me. Like, oh, what are you investing in? And they're like, oh yeah, and like I had this with Hertz. I was like, you know what? Like I just got a gut feeling that Hertz is. I don't think they're going to go bankrupt. I think they're too big. It's like the biggest player in the space, and I think the stock's going to be worth something one day. So I'll take the long play. Little did I know, it went from like $1 to like $5 within the week.
Oh,
So
wow.
like I 5x'd my money, and I was like out. And then some people were like, oh, I'm riding it to the moon, and ended up dropping down to $1 again. And I was like,
Aw.
amazing. And I mean, I got caught up. It's weird. I got caught up. There's these, they call it a value stock, right? Where you buy a stock that's sort of undervalued because of whatever the market conditions are. Maybe they're going through something, but as long as they weather that storm,
Yeah, like a strong company.
Yeah, it's a strong company, and it's going to come back. And you saw that with like AMC. I thought was a value. I'm like, look, people are always going to go to the movies as long as they own a bunch of real estate. They may be running out of cash, but as long as I'm sure somebody will lend them the money. As long as they get through the pandemic, they're going to be golden. The stock is going to be back up to $20 a share. So I'll buy it at $5. Then it like took the roller coaster ride, the Reddit roller coaster ride, and I sold it at like 20. And I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting that to be like a 5-year plan, not like a 5-day plan. It was a sort of long position. I think I've been on it for 6 or 7 months before that little roller coaster, but I just tried.
Semi long term.
Yeah. But it's a little addictive though, like to start playing these like
Oh, gosh.
wild moving stocks. So then I started buying into GameStop just recently when it started going up, and then it like dropped and I was down like $5,000, and I was like, you know what? And so then I sold it for a loss like 2 or 3 days ago when it started creeping back up to near where I bought it. And if I held on to it through today, I would have made like $5,000 or $8,000 on it, and I was like, I lost out on that opportunity.
You know, but like you're better off with the certainty. Like
There's never certainty.
well, when it was where you sold it, you're like, this is what I'm gonna
but I
walk away
sold
with.
it at a loss.
Yes, but would you rather still hang on to that and then even like you would have even more of a loss?
Yeah,
That's the uncertainty. That's not.
It was a little bit of a YOLO. It was a little bit of a like, let's just see what happens. Now, you just started trading.
I did, but I don't know anything about it.
You don't know, but you're going to start building it up. And it's like there's advice that I give people, and some people are like, yeah, it's a great advice. And they never take it. And then like 10 years later, like I should have taken that advice. You actually take the advice.
Well, yeah, because I believe you.
Yeah. So well, it's like perfect advice. It's I made a video, whatever, a month or two ago about like what I would have told myself 20 years ago. And like this is advice I wish I'd received, because I would be in a completely different position, or even if I was in the same position, it would have been a much easier climb. And you seem to be heeding most of that advice, and I think you're having fun and you're positioning yourself pretty well.
Yeah, because it's like one of those things where you've been there, done that. So if you say, oh, you should do X, Y, Z, because in the future it's going to be this and that, and I'm going to do that.
Or at least until I'm proven wrong.
Yeah, if it's a formula that works, why wouldn't I try it?
But you also, you're taking a little bit of blind faith that like when you're young, it's something you don't have as much money. So you want to be like, I'll spend everything I have, and then I'll make more when I need it. And I'll invest later. I'll do this and do that. And then you look back and you're like, did I really need that?
I feel like
stupid?
that's what everyone does, though. They say, oh, I'll do it later, do it later.
Everybody does.
And then you do it too late, and then you're working till forever.
I
want to retire.
Well, and that's a big thing. A lot of people don't retire. A lot of people say they're going to travel when they get older. Oh, I'll just travel when I
Yeah.
get older. And then, oh, you know what? Oops, just got a kid coming along the way. Oh, yeah, we'll do this. And everything is always pushed down the road. And then you change your perspective, and you're like, you know what? I just want to do this for my kids or my grandkids, and you've now lost out on your entire opportunity to enjoy life or discover things that you may enjoy because you're pushing it off down the road. And there's a movie. It was a Jim Carrey movie called like Yes Man, and you probably didn't see it. It wasn't that good, but
I think I saw part of it.
he's a guy that it was under a spell or something, and he just said yes to everything, like everything. Like, oh, you want to do this? Yes, yes, yes. You want to buy, like, whether it was good or bad. Hey, you want to take this outside and fight? Yes. And then he'd get his ass kicked. But he essentially because he used to say no to everything. Now he said yes to everything, and his life was just exponentially better. Because, I mean, I feel like you only have regrets when you don't like try stuff
I'm
or go
a
on
yes
the limb.
woman.
Yeah, like you want to get out and like say yes to everything. You want to enjoy yourself, and that's part of life. It's like you only regret not going somewhere. Oh yeah, you want to go out? Nah. Oh, everybody had such a great time going out. I probably should have gone out. Like that's like and you know, sometimes you make decisions that you learn from, and you say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have gone out or shouldn't have gone out that long or whatever.
Are you adding me right now?
Am I what?
Adding me?
Adding? Like addressing?
Yes.
No, I was just saying in general.
Oh, okay.
If it hits close to home, that's a you thing.
Know, the shoe fits.
Yeah, but like,
anyways.
Yeah, but if people like you go out, you try something, and you may not like it. It may have been the wrong decision, but at least you're able to experience that and learn whether something's the right or wrong decision. What? Oh, you've got something settling in your head, and I have no idea.
Do you know what you told me when I came back from Miami?
What's that?
About going out and not like just working and
going and working. Yeah,
like I was there for work.
Yeah,
and I ended up going out a couple nights, and I was out like a little bit late.
You were out throughout the night, every night.
Not every night,
but like you were on no sleep. So she's now. This is I'm putting your business on the street. Going out. Okay. And I said, look, you're going down to work for the weekend, and she was working a trip. And I said, like, the one thing that you never want to do poorly is work. You always want to outshine everybody. Wait, this isn't you. This is a general statement. You sound
like you're talking about, like, all right, go ahead. Go on. I'll
listen. You never want to take any job for granted. You want to make sure you give your best effort for whatever you do. Work first, then play.
That's what I did. I worked during the day and played.
Yeah, you played at night, but then the problem is like you're on no sleep. Nobody's going to be able to give their best effort if they're on an hour and a half of sleep. The day after they're on 2 hours of sleep.
Okay, it was like 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, but that was where you positioned yourself. So I'm not saying don't go out and have fun, but you have to regulate that, especially if you're down, like going on vacation with your girlfriends or your boyfriend, whatever it is. Go out, enjoy yourself. I don't care if you stay up and for 48 hours straight. But when you're down there for work, you have to be as professional as possible. And I always go back. There was a girl, Erin, that worked on Bull Run a couple of times. And she just had her shit together so well. Pleasant, on top of everything, on point. Nothing slipped by her. She would come out to dinner. Hey, everybody, just have dinner. And then like go get her work done. Rest. Everybody else goes out and parties. She's there in the morning. But she was like, I would hire her to virtually do anything. And that's the person.
So hire Erin.
Erin's probably 40 years old with 3 kids now. I don't know. But you have to, I'm sure she's got a great job. And those are the people that generally are successful in life. And you've got more than enough opportunities. And so does everybody. You have more than enough opportunities to go out and have fun. So you have to sort of figure out whether you're somewhere for business or pleasure. Imagine going to a business retreat and just getting like sloppy drunk every night and everything like that. You're not giving your best effort. You're in a business capacity.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to think of it that way because everybody's looking at you as the person that's working there. And yeah, you could be really fun and you're working there and drinking and going out all night, but now you're no different than the models working the trip instead of being like, oh, she's there, she's working the trip, she's in charge, that's why she's in charge.
For the record, I was not drinking like that.
No, I know, but you know what I'm saying? But it's just being,
I was still on points, okay?
But just being out there, and you may think you represented yourself really well. I mean, there's been times where I drank
so
and
many
and
people
said,
told me I was that woman. Like they were like, holy crap, I don't know how you're doing this.
You're taking the general criticism and
the general criticism sounds like it's directed towards me.
No, I'm talking in generalities.
In general.
There was another, and you'd have to look it up. Look up Matt Damon and like never take a job for granted. And he gave like, it was probably a 2 or 3 minute little speech, like motivational speech, I guess, where it's like, do the best you can at whatever you're doing. Like whether you're stocking shelves at the supermarket, just like, the people that are going to get ahead in life aren't the people that are just going to do what they have to do to get by,
Like,
or
just
like
enough, yeah.
or that they, like, I think this is good enough. Nobody can tell that there's more that could be done. The people that get ahead in life are the people that do the best at that job, and you're like, wow. And it's called the Peter Principle. There is a rule in like corporate America called the Peter Principle, where you're promoted to your highest level of incompetence. So, oh yeah, Joe is great in the stock room, right? Let's make him in charge of the whole floor. Oh, great, Joe's really good at being in charge of the whole floor. And you keep promoting Joe because he's really good at stuff until you promote him to something that he's not good at. So now you have Joe as the regional sales manager, because that was like a progression up the pyramid, but Joe sucks at sales. He was really good at logistics, but he sucks at sales. So now you're stuck with this like guy who's at his highest level of incompetence or lowest level of incompetence, which he's not going to go any further. He's now stuck in this position, and you've got a crappy sales guy because you had a really good organizational guy and regional manager, but a terrible sales guy. But like everybody sort of works their way up the food chain. I may be butchering.
Was the goal of that to put somebody where they wouldn't?
No, it's you always want to reward people that, like, you want to see what somebody's capable of. So you always reward people for being really good at something by giving them more responsibility. And here you're giving this guy, just call him Peter. And I feel bad for poor Peter, whoever he was. He's got a principal named after him. And like you work your way up, you work your way through this, and now you're at your level of incompetence where you're not very good at this position, but you're stuck there because you're not. They
wouldn't put you back.
Yeah, but they're not going to put you back, but they're also not going to bump you up. Like it's not like, all right, now we're going to make him senior sales manager. Now we're going to make him like not everybody's destined to be a CEO, but like you have to sort of work. So that's a big thing in corporate America. You could look it up because I butchered it a little bit, but the premise is there.
Okay, so. I see. I'll have to look it up because. Yeah. Sounds.
I mean, think about taking the best kid on a JV team and putting him on a varsity team. Then, but wow, he's really good. Let's put him on a college team.
Yeah,
and eventually he's just going to be like a mediocre talent on one of these teams. And you could look at that in college, like the best high school football player or the best high school basketball player in my high school. You think like, wow, this guy's going to be in the NBA one day. He sucks. He doesn't even get like picked by a college. He's a Division III college player. And in your head, he's like, he was the best guy in his town, the best guy in the school, the best guy in the region. He's a nobody. Once you like, it's just been, big fish, little pond.
That's true.
So, I mean, that's all stuff to.
That's when you put it into that perception.
Perspective.
Sorry.
It's all right. So,
let's go on.
What do you got? I had something I wanted to talk about. What was it?
I don't know. Let's talk about these chairs.
Well, you talk about these chairs, and then we'll talk about. I gave you something upstairs, and I'm like, oh, be sure to talk about that.
Oh, your Porsche.
My Porsche.
Right? Your Porsche rental.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. Talk about your chairs.
That's what you told me to talk about. Oh. Oh, well, I just want to thank Rob for getting these chairs. Now we have seat backs, so I can comfortably sit here for like an hour. That wasn't
designed to get a thank you out of it, but.
Before I was sitting on just like a piece of, what is that? Just
stool.
Just a stool.
And I got these chairs. These are Pottery Barn, and I remember seeing these with these little cranks underneath as a stool in the store, and I'm like, I need those in my whiskey lounge. And then I looked online, and they actually have them not available in stores, but they have them with backs on them, which are these things. Yeah. And I was all about it. So. It's probably some of the most expensive things. Just silence that thing.
It's silent. It just keeps going off.
If it's vibrating, it's not silent.
That's silent. That's what iPhone silent is.
iPhone silent still vibrates?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if I want an iPhone because that would get really annoying.
I'm sure you can. Well, you can put on Do Not Disturb. I just did that now, but
Got it.
It was distracting a little bit.
Speaking of distracting, my son is pushing a crane truck behind the camera.
I know. That's why I got distracted when I was talking and mixed up my words because he's like over there. I don't know what he was doing.
Ryan, don't play that, please. We're having a podcast.
It's making noises now.
Yeah, so this is why we don't record during the day. We usually do it at night, but you weren't feeling well last night, and you lost your voice on the New Orleans trip.
Oh, my gosh. My voice was completely gone. I feel like from Miami, like I was yelling a lot, and then I had like a couple days rest, and then back in New Orleans, and I lost my voice again. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh gosh, and I had to come back and recover. So almost fully recovered right now. I feel like I'm talking pretty normal.
Yeah, you sound all right.
But
So welcome back.
thanks. Yeah, but
Yeah, so let me talk about my Porsche rental. So I just put up a video today, which also is sponsored by Helix Mattress. I have a Helix mattress upstairs. It's super comfortable. It's really nice. She's laid down on it, but not before we moved in.
yeah, it
It's
was
a
like
good
literally
mattress.
just the mattress and like the room, and
Yeah,
you're
it was
like,
the room and the
try
mattress.
this.
Try it out. And was it awesome though?
It was pretty good. Yeah,
It was after we assembled the bed that you tried it out.
Yes. Yeah. No, definitely good mattress.
Yeah. So I was very excited. I got that. They were like, Helix Mattress reached out and was like, hey, do you mind? We want to send you a mattress and you want to try it out and give us your thoughts. And they became a channel sponsor. And I got this mattress when I was like living in my apartment and not able to actually enjoy it. So it wasn't until about 20 days ago that I finally got to sleep on this mattress for the first time. And it's awesome. So, and this isn't a sponsored plug or anything, but there is a promo code. So I might as well give it to you just because they do sponsor my YouTube channel. It's helixsleep.com/SSR if you want to try it out. It'll save you $200 or up to $200 depending on the size of your mattress. And you'll also be able to get 2 free pillows, free shipping, and they give you a 100-day guarantee. So if you don't like it, you can send it right back and they'll give you all your money back. So imagine getting a free mattress for 3 months.
It's awesome.
So that's cool. But you will not regret it. Very nice. Everybody that's tried one so far has loved it. Everyone's laid down on mine loves it. My wife loves it. We're all happy here. But anyway, that's not the point of this. The point of this was the Porsche story. I have a rental that went out to this guy that was just absolutely brutal. Like I just wanted to be, I virtually wanted to give him his money back, right? And just say like, I just don't want your money. You're not worth it.
This was from the beginning. He was like this.
He was brutal. And like,
how so?
Can
you talk of this?
I can. He was,
take a sip.
Yeah.
And then we can touch base on this.
Got to keep up with you today.
Me? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you crushed it.
burning through this.
This guy came out and he wanted, what can you do? What's the best rate? I want it for 5 days. I just crashed my whatever. And,
Oh, that's a good sign.
well, I don't care if he crashes. As long as he's got insurance and it checks out, that's all I care about. So this guy, and let me get a little bit more comfortable for this one. This guy comes out and he's like, all right, what can you do? How much? I'm like, all right, it's $495 a day. That's what I can do for you. Okay, well that's $2,500. What can you do? I'm like, I'll do it for $2,000 for the 5 days. It's $400 a day. You got to do better than that. And like back and forth. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to argue with you. I'd rather just let the car sit. It costs me money when you put mileage on. Like if you can do less miles, like that's a metric I can do. If you say you need it for 5 days, but you only need 100 miles included,
It's nothing though.
the time depreciation is much less impactful than the mileage depreciation. But if you need it for 5 days and 5,000 miles, guess what? You're going to pay significantly more than the daily rate because I got to get a certain dollar amount per mile. Mm-hmm. Anyway, this guy was like just nonstop. And okay, all right, sorry, I don't think we can help. Calls back an hour later. I'm like, all right, this guy clearly needs the car. So ultimately we agree, and I forget what it was, like $380 a day or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And then like 125 miles a day. And it was whatever. It was just like last minute. It was available. He was calling for the same day or the next day. So the opportunity cost there is like, I'd rather take the rental than not. He was the worst. Then he shows up and he's like negotiating again with the guy delivering the car. I'm like, you've already negotiated. There's no more. Just leave.
Wasn't everything signed?
I'm like, I've been on the phone with you for 20 minutes already. Like, just if you don't want it, don't take the car. Leave. It's a take it or leave it. Takes the car. Then he's like, oh, okay. Calls me up the next day. Yeah, what if I just return the car today? Why, was anything wrong with the car? No, I think I'm going to travel to this or whatever the excuse was. And I'm like, all right, well, then what I can do for you is I can charge you the full 1 day rate with 100 miles and give you the rest of the money back. You're well inside your cancellation period, but just to be done with you, I will give you a 1 day rate of $495, which is the standard rate I was going to charge, and then you get 100 miles. Anything you did over 100 miles, $3.95 a mile. Well, you were charging me $380 a day. Yeah, for 5 days, and you're more than welcome to keep it for the 5 days for your $380 a day. But what you're not able to do is ask for a monthly rate and then say, well, I just want to keep it for a day and I want to pay you the daily rate of the month for just 1 day. It doesn't work like that. You go to a hotel, same thing. They may charge you whatever, $1,000 a night, but if you say you want the room for the month, they may charge you half of that. They may charge you $15,000 for the month versus $1,000 a night. But then you can't stay there for a week and be like, all right, here's $3,500. Well, that's not how that works, pal. Like, you can't get the bulk. You can't go to Costco and then just take like something out of the bulk bag and say, like, I just want to pay the bulk rate for just this one piece because I don't need 40 rolls of toilet paper. So he was terrible. And it was...
He kept the car for the entire...
He then kept it for 2 days, and just like the negotiation back and forth and the math that we were doing. Oh, well, how much do I get back if I give you this? And all right, well, why don't you give me $700 back? I'm like, let's be very clear. I'm not going to talk about what you're getting back. I'm talking about how much this is costing you. And the net result was like $800 or $900. And he's, oh, why are you arguing over $50? I'm like, dude, you're arguing over $50, and I'm telling you, I've got no problem. I'm making you an offer. You can absolutely say no to it. You can either keep the car for the amount of time that we've discussed, for the rate that we've agreed on already, or you can return it, and this is your return terms. Simple as that. Anyway, fast forward. He brought the car back, and then after you agree on price, he's talking about mileage again. I'm like, dude, you're killing me.
Just constant back and forth over the same things.
And it just wasn't worth the time. It wasn't worth an hour of... And when I stop being nice to somebody on the phone is when, I'm done with you. I've fired you as a customer, effectively. I don't want you to be a customer. You're brutal. Anyone that listens to these recorded phone calls will be absolutely in agreement. I've done everything to try to appease you. You're irrational about everything you're asking for. And it just wasn't... It isn't worth it. So this guy ultimately was going to bring the car back at whatever... 11 in the morning, and he doesn't show up at 11 in the morning. It ultimately shows up 2 or 3 o'clock. He gave us a cash security deposit. We gave him the car back after we looked at it. Everything looked all right. And then upon closer inspection, we noticed that the wheel, there was a chunk of tire missing. We're like, what's going on there? And then we noticed a bad wheel repair. And when we were looking at the GPS as to where he was at a wheel shop.
Nice.
In Patterson. So he went to a wheel shop. So he bent the wheel, and we didn't even realize, because when we checked the car and we're not checking for bends in the wheel. And since it was a cash security deposit and we just wanted this guy out of our lives, we usually keep the security deposit for a day or two just to make sure the car checks out. We gave him his cash back to get him out of there. And turns out we have a bent wheel and a poor repair. So we're going to have to spend the money to repair it.
Oh, nice.
Which is brutal because the repair on the wheel is only $200.
Yeah.
And that's taking it out, sending it out. And so this guy, I mean, he must have paid $150. So to save $50, he's now made me have to do the work again. I'm going to lose the $200 because I can't collect it from him to fix the wheel properly. So now I've gone from $850 or $900 down to $700, plus he did 250 miles on. I lose money. There is a per mile cost for me to operate this car. And this one customer has now cost me money. So he was absolutely... And there's just customers that will put one by you and they won't be excruciating to deal with. This guy was a...
Just the fact that all of that happened made this...
He was everybody worse. That interacted with this guy was this is the worst person I've ever met.
Oh.
And not maybe he's a decent person, but he was... incredibly difficult to deal with. He was and there are the customer's always right mantras and everything like that. No, the customer's not always right. This guy sucked. I'd rather not do business with him. Even if he came in and said he wanted something else, I would just say, sorry, I can't rent a car to you.
Yeah, no, because then I feel there's going to be more problems down the line.
It's just not worth the effort. And we've had customers that are not worth the effort. Now, there was another customer that I had that was a terrible customer, and he damaged the car, brought it back, and this is 10 years ago, 12, 15 years ago, whatever it was. And he brought the Ferrari back, and he damaged it. And I was like, oh, you damaged the car. And he's like, no, I didn't. He's like, dude, no. Clearly there's significant damage. Somebody sideswiped the Ferrari or something. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And he then Noah's like, look, very clearly, you can see on the contract. And I think he must have been on drugs or something. There was no damage on it. So the guy takes the contract from Noah's hands and just starts running down 57th Street.
What?
In the city, takes the contract and just starts running.
Well, I'm sure you have copies of it. And
no, that was it. The customer gets a copy, we get a copy. This is paper copies, the carbon copies. Oh. So he takes the contract and just starts running away. And we're like, get out of town. So like Noah's like chasing him down 57th Street. And I guess I can share this. It's not, we're such a
Probably
woke.
been long enough.
No, I know, but we're in like such a woke culture right now. You got to be careful what you say. But the guy was like, he was not white. And like, he was like help a brother out, like, and telling these other people that are also not white to like block the guy so he can get away.
What?
And I'm like, what is going on right now? And it's just like whether he's right or wrong, like that's just such a D move. Ultimately, I think he ripped up the contract, and like the cops got involved, gave us the ripped up contract back.
To tape it back together.
You're in New York. It's not even that, but like his insurance ultimately paid for it. But I'm like, that guy must have been like high out of his mind or something like that. Like, what makes you think, like, we know who you are, we have your information, your license, everything, we verified it.
Nothing
Do you
better
think
to
by
do.
taking the contract and running down the street and ripping it up, you're going to get out of damaging a Ferrari? But
maybe he panicked. He just didn't know what to do in that moment. So he's like, oh, crap. He's like, this is what's... And you mentioned the contract. So he's like, this is what's binding me now to this damage.
We didn't even identify that was binding the damage. We just said, like, well, you can see on the contract, there was no clearly no damage.
You mentioned the contract. So he freaked out, grabbed it, and ran away.
And that
he
was
had to
hysterical.
dispose of it.
But we're talking like 2 years ago, that guy calls back up to rent a car. And I'm like...
Did you?
Yeah, I gave him a car.
did?
I did. I rented them a car, and it was like, because I mean, the guy is like a lawyer now or something like that. You're talking 15 years ago.
Yeah, so now you can argue
Yeah,
about the damage.
I rented them a car. No, because it was paid. It was settled up last time. He didn't have an outstanding balance or anything like that. So he paid up, or he paid for this rental. This rental was sort of seamless. It was
oh, good.
like, look, people grow up, and that's why you always have to acknowledge that people do dumber things when they go through their lives and things that they regret or they're not proud of. But like, you give everyone a second chance.
So if this guy with the Porsche came back and tried to rent something from you, would you rent him a car?
Maybe in 10 years. But like, that guy I think was like on drugs or something at the time. This guy just thinks sucks.
Oh, just in general. Okay. I mean, yeah, maybe it was just the time and his character. So
yeah, I don't know. I can't. And I guess dealing with people like this makes me a very good customer because I sympathize, with the people working. I understand like who's in charge.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you?
Have you seen me do otherwise?
No, well, not necessarily. But we talked about Ferretti demands and how ridiculous they can be.
No, you're talking about with people I work with, like you.
No, but like people like in restaurants or like in places where you're like, no, actually, like I need to readjust that.
Well, because you go to a restaurant or you go to some place and they just have if your rule is like, oh, why is that rule? And the answer is like, well, that's just the rule.
That's just how it is.
That's so dumb to me. Like,
Okay.
hey, could you put these two tables together? No, we can't, unfortunately. Why not? That's just the rule. Well, that's a very dumb rule. Like, clearly there's nobody else here. We could put the two tables together and not affect anything in your restaurant. There's no, like, I'm sorry, we have to keep it clear for wheelchair access. None of that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So, like, if you've got a demand, or like if I ask for something that's a request, that's sort of a simple request, and it's not unreasonable, and your answer is like, no, that's just store policy. We don't do that. Well, that's where Rob Ferretti demands seem unreasonable. But if you give me a logical response to something, then I'm cool. But if I come in and I'm like, hey, I'd like to buy out the whole restaurant today,
and like, wait a second,
and they're like, I'm sorry, we don't do that. Why not? I'm going to pay for all the tables. Like, just say it's a small restaurant, we're doing adventure drives or something, and you guys make $1,500 during your lunch session. I'm going to give you $3,000 and just close it down for us. I'm sorry, we don't do that. It's company policy. Well, why not? Like, I'm offering you,
it makes money.
Like, yeah, you could put a price on it, and I'm available to say no. But there's just stuff like, all right, or like even we're dealing with this company in Vegas, and we're doing a high end whiskey tasting on this private event we're doing, and the bottles are like $700 each, and we're like, all right, we're gonna buy these bottles. So like, what happens for this bottles we don't drink? We just put them behind the bar and sell it to other people. Well, no, I'm paying for those bottles, so I'm going to take those with me. If we don't drink it, like if we drink it, no big deal. But if we don't drink it, those are mine. You're charging me for the bottle. And Siobhan's like, well, maybe we can't just walk out of the restaurant with a bottle. I'm like, absolutely. If I go get a bottle of $5,000 wine and I have a glass, they put the cork back in, they hand it to me, and they take it out with me.
Yeah, they seal it.
And that's in a lot of places. But Vegas is open containerville. Like, you could literally walk down the street with a yardstick. So there's no excuse to not give me an open container of alcohol, especially if I'm paying for it. I'm not going to let you resell that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, no, don't let them.
No, we've now agreed on that. But again,
Okay.
like I sympathize with people. Like, I know if somebody's telling me something, I'm never going to yell at somebody because, like, they're not making the rules.
You're not a yeller.
I'm not
You don't
a
yell at
yeller,
all.
but I also understand that they're just doing their job. They're there trying to make, like, I hate people that are rude to, like, wait staff. It's just the last person that you, like, they're not in control of anything. They're being taught to do something. And there is nothing that they're in control of. They're just there to bring you food and hopefully make a nice tip, and that's their job. So to, like, yell at them for anything that went wrong because your steak tastes like crap, that's not on them. They just brought it to you. They didn't cook it. Go ask for the chef and complain to the chef. It just, I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate people that have to sit there and take it, and the terrible people that yell at them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It just and I'm definitely not one of those. And I understand, but now if I'm talking to the restaurant owner and he's got a stupid policy, I'll tell him his policy is stupid and explain why. And that's almost like the consultant in me explaining why something isn't efficient and why it should be better and how he's losing money or could be making more money or whatever the situation may be. Or like, hey, like, yeah, I'm sorry, we can only fit 18 people. Yeah, we have 20. Yeah, we're going to have to pass. Why would you want to pass on a party of 20 people? Like, that's a lot of money for you. Now you're going to be empty.
Yeah.
We can stagger seating. Oh, the other thing, where these restaurants want to do fixed menus, right? Mm-hmm. So we're not expanding a restaurant. We go into a restaurant with like 30 or 40 people, and I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to bring 40 people to your restaurant. We want to just do open menu. Everything goes on one tap. That's, to me, as a restaurant owner,
amazing.
It's a dream. It's not 30 people asking for 30 separate checks, and this guy says his chicken was too hard. It's one guy saying, I'm going to pay for all 40 people. Well, we can't do that. You have to do a fixed menu. So we'll pick 3 entrees. I'm like, nope, we don't want to do that. Well, we wouldn't know what to order. What do you do when you have a restaurant and you have 40 people come in and sit at separate tables? The same exact thing, right? You order the same way when you have 40 random people come in as in one group of 40 with one check. You're not ordering different steaks. You're not ordering different fish. Like, if you run out of something, you run out of something. That's just the way a restaurant works.
Yeah.
But for you to say that you cannot do it without making me do a fixed menu, I'm telling you simple things. You're going to tell me the service can't be done as efficiently because you can't prepare 40 meals at the same time because the orders are all going in at the same time. I'm telling you I don't care about that. I'm telling you everybody's perfectly fine. We're a group of people traveling together. We can stagger the seating so we can have people come every 15 or 20 minutes the same way a restaurant would normally sit. Mm-hmm. And if people have to wait a little bit, nobody's got a problem. We're going to have drinks. We're going to have appetizers. We're like, there is no like formal catering party where everyone has to be served at the same exact time.
Yeah.
So your concerns about service, I'm telling you, that's not going to be an issue with us. So, like, there's restaurants that we've dealt with. No, but like I'm telling you, like, well, I'll put it in writing. I've got no problem with that. We're gonna seat between 7:30 and 8:30. We're gonna bring 40 people. We're all gonna go on one check. We want an open menu. If you're limited by something, tell us you have 11 Chateaubriands, and we'll only order up to 11 Chateaubriands. And when they're out, you're out. Mm-hmm. And that's just one of those things that, like, I don't get. And we've had so many restaurants pass on $5,000 dinner tabs because of that.
And we're not even like a difficult group of people, but I guess they don't know that.
No, but it's just the rules are stupid.
Yeah.
Like, don't put stupid rules. You can explain why the rule exists, and then we can, like, but they're so used to people being like, all right, we'll pick a salad or a soup for everybody. And then, and that's just not the way we work.
No, it's not.
That's not luxury. Luxury is being able to look at a menu and order what you want. Because I've had people on my trips when we have been in a position to do fixed menu. Oh, can I see the real menu? And then they look at the real menu. Why isn't this on here? Why isn't this on here?
Yeah, because they're so much better.
And I'm like, I can't tell. Like, what you want clearly isn't what's on this menu. But, like, it's not like we pick this. We have to pick something that's one chicken, one fish, one steak, and one pasta. But so everybody's got an option.
Even if they do that, so they do the fixed menu, and then what if every single person orders like one of like the one thing? So then they sell out of that.
It's the law of averages. No, it never does. It never happens like that.
All right. Well, fine. Sorry, I didn't know you had so much restaurant experience with inventory.
I've spent over $1 million at restaurants. So like I've got plenty of restaurant experience, and I've had lots of restaurant
their
tabs.
inventory.
So yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a really interesting situation to be in. But as a restaurant, like you get food for a week,
yeah,
right?
so tough.
Over order a little bit if you're worried. Are you worried about that food? If you're so in demand, that's the one thing. When places are like, oh, we're so in demand, we don't have to like flex our business practices to get people in there, and that gets us not going there. And I don't think that's really good for business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This all stemmed from you saying that Ferretti demands are unreasonable. Give me some unreasonable demands.
Oh gosh,
I'm going to call you out on this.
I'm going to start a
This
list,
is a Matt
actually.
Farah thing. Matt Farah is the guy who says like Ferretti makes unreasonable demands.
I know. That's why I need Matt next to me, and we need to put together a list of unrealistic Ferretti demands.
Matt Farah is the least like visionary when it comes to things. Like he's got to plan everything. I can just be like, all right, we'll figure it out when we get there. And he needs everything organized. So we just operate differently. We're great friends, but we operate very differently when it comes to that. Like he's a very big like planner. Oh, this is off schedule. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're off schedule. I'm like, doesn't matter. Like we've got buffer in the schedule. We can make it up. Not a big deal. And he's just not able to accommodate that as well.
Some people can't. I remember when we were filming, he was like, "Oh, what are we doing for dinner? What are we doing for lunch?" I'm like, "I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there."
We could figure out dinner when it's time to go to dinner. Like we don't have to figure out dinner. Like it doesn't have to be on your daily schedule.
I'm like, "Don't worry. Like we're gonna do it. We're gonna eat."
Yep. You're never gonna go hungry. I promise. You're gonna have a good meal. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, he was a little bit nervous about that, but it's fine because he just wants to know.
Yeah, but that's and Matt and I get along very well, so. It's fun. It's just, but we recognize how vastly different we are. But like, I am a problem solver, and he is not. He's a guy that like.
You don't think he is?
No, he's not a problem solver.
I think in like some no.
Matt Farah, not a problem solver.
I think he's a smart guy.
He's a very smart guy.
So,
incredibly
so
intelligent. But there's a difference. I think it's a great skill to be able to solve problems, and I've learned
he could utilize his intelligence.
Yeah, but
solve
but the problem is even intelligent people, they can't solve problems on the fly.
No, it's about like rapid fire.
It's like I've seen a lot. I think there's two people. There's the type of person that notices a problem, or some people don't even notice a problem, but there's people that notice a problem, and then they instantly panic and try to figure out who's to blame, what went wrong. And he's like one of those guys, right? He's like, what happened? How well, we got to prevent this in the future. And like, how can we do? And like it's imagine your boat is leaking, and he's the guy who will drown trying to blame somebody for the hole in the boat. Where I'll take a piece of chewing gum, stick it in the hole, and then be like, all right, now how do we prevent that from happening in the future?
And now we're gonna make it.
But like he'll drown, like focusing on the problem without solving the problem. My first instinct isn't to figure out who's to blame, because I don't really care. And that's why I don't really get angry at anyone, because I don't care who screwed it up. I want to figure out a solution to it. And then we could figure out how to prevent it from happening, or like who did it.
And then you figure out who screwed it up.
Yeah, but even then, you can't expect everyone to be perfect. You figured out who screwed it up, and then how you prevent that person or whoever's in that role in the future from screwing that up. Like, how can I create a process? Because it always comes down to the guy at the top. How do you make a process where something can't be screwed up? And that's how I've been able to build up a rental business that essentially I can hand my app to or my iPad to a homeless guy and say, Jay, could you deliver this Ferrari for me? And he can deliver that Ferrari, having never seen a Ferrari, having never driven a Ferrari, never delivered a Ferrari, through that program, and I'll be completely covered between me and the customer. He can't progress through that contract without getting all the correct signatures, without getting all the correct pictures, without getting all the correct data that he needs, without verifying everything. And that's sort of on me. Instead of like yelling at your employee for not doing something, because employees are not always perfect. So instead of yelling at the employee, you got to realize that you should make it so that the employee can't screw something up. Mm-hmm. So that's a problem solver.
That was okay. It's a nice little rant about problem solving.
A rant? That was,
I don't know. You were going on, and I'm like, wow, like my brain is just about to explode with stuff that you're saying. I
mean, I hope you're like, my goal is always to help make people better, like make people nicer, make people smarter, make people more
problem solvers.
Make people more successful. But problem solving is a skill. Not everybody has that skill. So you have to recognize if you have it or you don't. But if you don't have that skill, also it doesn't help to make the problem worse.
I don't think that I was a good problem solver, like in the past.
Yeah,
I feel like as I got better at it, like I started recognizing things. I don't know. I mean, you could totally disagree with me right now, but
and you're actually pretty good. And I haven't seen you work for people other than me, so I don't know how you've handled other stuff. And you've always got me there. So if you're ever caught, I'm like everything is instant with me. I see 3 steps ahead, and I have the solution. That just is a skill I have. And I see you possibly getting to that point because you do look at stuff and you're starting to analyze stuff the way I do.
Oh, it's so scary.
So, well, it's good.
I do.
But that's a good skill to have. That's a very valuable skill to have. And there's a quote. It's if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Yeah. Stop being part of the problem and get out of the way and let me fix it. And that's
let me do this.
That's I think that was from like Die Hard or something like that. And that's so true though. If you're not part of the solution, you're in the way. Just like get out of the way and let somebody else fix it. And you think of anything that's critical or bad, like being there and being like, oh yeah, like a bunch of people come and be like, oh yeah, look at that, there's a fight over there. You're not helping anything. Get the hell out of the way. Let the cops get in there. Let somebody like break up the fight. Let somebody like, oh look.
But that's like the bystander effect where people just think somebody else is going to solve it. Somebody else is going to jump in.
There's that's usually that's another principle. We don't have to get into it. But
let's not get so
theoretical for everything. But like imagine there was a fire and everyone just came and be like, wow, look at that fire. How do you think that thing started? You're not helping. Get out of the way. You're now standing in the way, preventing the fire truck from getting here. So like get the hell out of the way because you're now part of the problem because you're now making that place burn down, making somebody get stuck inside because you're not letting, you're not granting. Safe. You're thank you for that delay, but we need to get in here and take care of this. Then we could talk about how the fire started, who started the fire, like if the fire department was too far away, if they could move a closer firehouse to service this area. All of that stuff is possible after the problem is solved. Everybody always tends to like focus on the problem instead of the solution. Focus on the solution, and then you can address the problem. Sorry, is that good?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You should do like TED Talks.
Yeah, I'm going to start teaching somewhere. This wasn't designed. This is supposed to be a podcast about cars and having fun.
Everywhere that we go, like every city and every track, you should just do like I don't know, like Rob Ferretti talks about life and
I'm dangerous.
Problem solving.
You give me a microphone, I can be dangerous. I could be there for a while. Microphone and some whiskey, and I can be there for a while.
You should do it. Like TED Talks around the country.
It would be Rob Talks. Cause,
obviously, yeah.
Because I'm not Ted.
Rob Ferretti talks about
and the thing is, like, you could throw any topic at me, and I could just, I want to say I'm a good bullshitter, but like I could literally talk about anything. You can like
talk.
Yeah.
Like, let's give you a topic. Crap. I'm not even this quick.
You can't even come up with a topic.
I'm not quick enough. Talk about, I don't know, your socks.
So it's funny, socks. It hits pretty close to home because I want to make super speeder socks.
What?
But these socks are beach socks, and I remember, and I don't watch the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but my wife would watch it every night when she went to bed. Mm-hmm. And there was a guy, Scott Disick, there who was an asshole. Like maybe it was TV asshole, maybe it was a real life asshole, but like he was definitely the asshole. Yeah. And he was talking about like starting a sock company and there was like Argyle socks. There was like, you have the white sports socks, you have the low cut socks. I mean, we got both of them here. And there was never any like fun socks. And he's like, I'm going to make fun. I think fun socks are the future. And
I was
like,
his company?
No, it's not his company. Oh. But like, no joke, like all of my socks are like pretty cool, fun socks now.
They're random stuff. It's like lobsters, the beach, Mickey Mouse.
A lot of them are gifts. Yeah, I went on Amazon and got 2 pairs of Mickey socks.
Oh, you did that voluntarily?
Yeah, because we were going to Disney.
Okay.
I'm a big Disney fan. Like, I think Disney's a good time. You're young. You're still young to the point. Fan. Well, because you haven't gone there with us.
What? That's not going to make the difference for me.
It does. We went to Disney on adventure drives. We went to Epcot. We drank around the world. We had a great time.
That sounds fun now, but like I'm not a big Disney. I don't know. There's like a bunch of weird rides there that aren't even rides. Like
Yeah.
I like roller coasters. I like.
Yeah, but I'm not saying you have to go to Disney and like ride It's a Small World. Like I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid to do the Peter Pan ride.
I did the Peter Pan ride, okay, and it wasn't that great.
No, it's not going to be that great because we're aged out of that. But there are plenty of opportunities. I think the Disney does this like transforming you to another place, like to a Happyville very well. I think that everything is clean,
frustrated.
everything is nice, there is more than enough. And I also I've done it to the extent where like I'll get a VIP host or something like that. So
where you skip everything.
We don't wait in any lines. We do all this stuff, and like we get to do all 3 parks in a day. And so like I couldn't imagine. I look at people that go get like a 10-day Disney pass. I'm like, what are you gonna do here for 10 days? Like they'll split the park in half every day and do all 4 parks over 8 days. I'm like, I would lose my mind.
I can't.
I just don't have the patience. I hate lines, so I pay for the convenience of like just being able to do what I want. And like there's good food there, there's good atmosphere, there's good ambiance. Everybody seems to be happy.
Okay. I don't know. I disagree. Like the food doesn't wow me. It's like amusement park food.
It's much better than like a Six Flags hot dog or something like that.
In Epcot, actually, the food was good.
They've got the
but
decent
everywhere else is
restaurants,
not good.
And they've got the Food and Wine Festival, which is a great time. They've got foods from around the world, and they hire a lot. Their program is they hire a lot of people from around the world. So now you've got guys cooking food in Zimbabwe from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And that's
makes it more like authentic.
And like German people working in Germany, and like it's just a more authentic feel, and you don't feel like imagine you go there and there's a bunch of like college, like white college kids. Oh yeah, welcome to Africa. Like I don't feel like I'm in Africa, pal. And they do very well. They've got a very good cultural group of people that manage these parks that makes it very good. And I think they do a very good job of it.
I think I need to go back like when it's open because we did Drinking Around the World recently.
Next time we go, you can come.
Because
my kid is like super excited to go back. My kids are both like, and my thing is like I'm not going back when you have to wear masks.
Then you're not. You might not go back anytime soon.
It'll be a year maybe, but like
Disney's gonna want masks.
You're like welcome to travel with my family. Like you're practically part of the family. So.
Thanks.
Like, I'm not incredibly worried about, like, if you want to come down, come on down. Like, if you want to...
Disney, I don't know.
You got to try it. Like, it's because I'm telling you, it could be fun. If you go with the right people, if you go with Debbie Downer, you're not going to have fun.
I went with my friends and my sister, and it was fun, but nothing, when we did Epcot, like, nothing was really open. So they like all the restaurants were kind of closed. It was just like the pop-up stands.
You went down during COVID too.
Yeah, it was the pop-up stands. We tried to do Drinking Around the World, and it just really didn't. I mean, we hit everything. We got like a pretzel in Germany and like a beer and, wine in Italy.
It takes a little away. They don't have all the in-person like entertainment, the bands,
there was
like none of that. And the fireworks displays were all canceled because that gets people to gather. And that's the thing. All of these little pop-up things that they do to entertain people don't take place and they do a lot of that. They don't take place because then people gather around and that's not COVID friendly.
Yeah, but.
So you got like a half a Disney experience.
I know. And that was like my second time there, I think. Second or third. That was my third time in Disney.
Yeah, I mean, Disney's a good time. Like, if you go... And look, I got when I lived in Florida, I got tired of going to Disney because my kid was young, so we'd go up like... It was...
Like every weekend?
No, not every weekend, but we'd go up like 3 or 4 times in the season because we get season passes. Mm-hmm. The thing about Disney, you go to Disney and it's like $500 a person to go to Disney for 3 days. But it's like $600 to get a yearly like Florida resident pass
per person.
Per person.
Okay,
so
that's so worth it.
So like you can go every day for $600. So it'll cost you $1 a day or whatever, $2 a day.
That's Florida residents. Can you get a season pass like out of state?
No, they don't really do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like or like they'll give you a season pass, but it's not nearly as discounted as the Florida resident. Because think about it, as a company, you want locals to come and not just tourists.
Yeah, and I feel like amusement parks, like or places like Disney, people that live in Florida don't really go to Disney. At least that's what I would think. Because if I lived in Florida, I wouldn't be going to Disney.
Locals don't go. Like when do you go to the Statue of Liberty? When was the last time you went to the Statue of Liberty?
When I was young, and my
like
grandma
in school,
took me.
Yeah, 3rd grade or something.
Yeah, I was little. I don't even go to New York City. Like I'm
Well,
right next to the city, and I barely go over there.
You should. I'm gonna drag you out to the city more because the city's got a lot. It's like the social scene here.
I mean, we did it when we went with a few friends. I mean,
yeah, we went out a couple of weeks ago, but it's a good time. It's like good restaurants, good ambiance.
But I'm never like, oh, let's go over to the city. Because
you see like parking headaches, you see paying tolls, you see like everything's expensive, and I get that because I was at your age.
It's a pain.
I said the same thing. Is it worth
there? So.
It's $100 just to stand on the sidewalk there effectively because you have to pay for the toll, you have to go pay for this, you got to pay for that, you got to pay for parking.
Parking's like $60. Like it gets so expensive.
But like once you get past that and you're like, all right, we're gonna just do this, we're gonna go. You can really have a good time in the city. There's a lot of good stuff to do now, maybe a little bit less just with COVID, but you could still, there's not nice restaurants. There's Bryant Park, there's Times Square, there's Central Park, there's downtown. There's a lot of stuff that you walk through and it's just like, oh, this is pretty nice. I'm enjoying the feeling of this.
Okay. So. We'll knock some off the list then. Yeah. We'll take a look.
Speaking of knocking stuff off the list, we got to get a bunch of tracks booked because
yes.
And I don't know which tracks we're missing. We've got like Laguna Seca, we've got Daytona, we've got Sebring, we've got Mid-Ohio, we've got Mid-America, we've got VIR, Watkins Glen, Lime Rock, Barber Motorsports Park, Coda's on the list. I mean, we've got such a list of tracks. Obviously, Coda is probably the one that I would. I mean, it's not my money, but like Coda's like $70,000 a day.
It's so expensive. I have to check their availability.
I'm excited because I'm about to drop a new engine in my Corvette, and if I drop the new engine,
blow it up in Coda.
No, and I'm you know what? I'm going dry sump now, and dry sump will like I spun a bearing on the main bearings, and that's it's oil starvation is why you spin a bearing. So the dry sump should prevent me from pulling like, and then you're talking about like G forces or G loads are causing oil not to get where it has to go to oil something, and that's metal on metal. That's never good.
Yeah.
So
then it goes. You know what it does?
Kablamo.
It goes kablamo.
It does go kablamo. So I'm going to try to prevent my car from going kablamo by doing a dry sump system. And
well, it already went kablamo, but you're trying to prevent that in the future.
Yeah. Again. Well, on the next motor, which is about to go in. And I got Doug down at the East Coast Supercharging. Pirate Doug is taking care of it.
Pirate Doug.
Yeah. I'm definitely bringing my pirate shirt to Vegas.
Oh my gosh. Doug has to bring his. You guys have to get in full pirate outfits.
I don't know if Doug still has it.
I don't care. We're buying a new one. Can you actually order like pirate costumes? Like I need the whole the eye patch.
Yeah,
shirt.
You're getting a little crazy with the eye patch.
Come on.
Well, what are you going to wear? You're going to dress like a wench?
No, what is that? What?
Oh, a wench is
a wench?
You've never been to medieval times, have you?
A wench.
A wench is like a barmaid or something like that.
Is
like,
that like
hey,
a
wench,
pirate
get me
thing?
a drink. Yeah, it's like a pirate. It's a pirate thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
What? No, I'm not dressing like that.
Okay, well, it's like
I'm not part of the pirate thing. It's you and Doug.
You can't make the pirate thing without being. But you are part of the pirate thing.
I was
you were there for the pirate
I was there,
thing.
but I was not part of it.
Yeah, JP should have been part of it, but
JP, yes.
No, but JP failed miserably.
What? He has the eye patch ready to go for you.
Yeah, no, JP talked a big game about pirates.
Oh, come on.
And then I show up in the pirate shirt. I'm very disappointed.
Well, you guys are late. You guys did that.
No, we were late because we walked there because the Ubers are retarded and they wouldn't let you do. I can't say retarded. The Ubers were silly, and they wouldn't let you take more than like 3 people in an Uber because of COVID.
Yeah.
So Doug and I walked down there and we stopped at the shop and we got a pirate shirt for me as well. Because Doug forgot his luggage because he was so busy with the customer. So he left his luggage at home and just had to get to the airport. So he's like, I'll just buy stuff when he got there. He went to like the surf style store. Like, I get that shirt. And he like ended up wearing it for like 2 or 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
So, Pirate Doug, yar. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you're listening in a car, if you're listening while you're working out, whatever it is, I hope you're enjoying it. And we'll talk a little bit more next time. We're going to figure out how to get these things live so we can get some questions and do a little Q&A at the end. But we appreciate your time. We appreciate you listening. And if you have anything you want us to talk about, let us know. Thank you to WhistlePig for providing us plenty of whiskey to make these podcasts a little bit more entertaining for you and let Rob speak his mind a little bit more than he probably would if he was thinking. Thank you, Tiara, for joining me. She is my right-hand man. That's not that.
Woman.
Yeah, she's my sidekick.
Sidekick. There we go.
And yes, I hate the word sidekick. I'm trying to think of how to describe her to people because I hate to be like employee.
I don't like
employer.
assistant. I don't like the word assistant.
Assistant's no good either.
Because I'm not like an assistant.
No, but she's definitely here a lot, and she helps out my life, and I think I'm helping out your life too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I think we're having a good time. So thank you everybody for listening. Follow her on Instagram, tiara.brianna, tiara.brianna @gmail. And you check out my TikTok channel. Right?
You have a TikTok now. Rob, that's the TikToker. Next time you guys see him, make sure you address him as the TikToker.
I'm petrified for somebody to address me as like, oh, you're the guy from TikTok. That's I think I don't punch people, but I would punch you. So please don't say that when I see you.
See if he actually would punch you.
I wouldn't punch you, but like I would feel the urge, and I don't want to feel the urge. Watch his fist
like clench up.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out that video about the unfortunate Porsche guy. We just crossed 800,000 subscribers in the YouTube channel a couple of days ago. Yeah, it was a slow crawl. We're gonna have to turn up the content this year. Now that the house is built, we'll turn up that content and get those subscribers climbing until I hit that 1 million. After 1 million, I don't care if I stop.
What? Come on.
I'm cool with 1 million.
You can't reach the top and stop.
I want that plaque on the wall right there, that 1 million subscriber plaque, and then I'm good.
Okay. Well, we'll be putting up videos of like the track days.
Yeah,
we did like a fun competition recently, so you guys will see
did
that.
have a good time. Now you're going to drag this out. We'll talk about it next time.
Anyways, next time.
Yeah, next time, because then that video will be live. But we shot a couple of fun videos where Rob didn't have his Corvette, so he started racing the Chrysler 300 rental car against the 918 and a McLaren 675 LT and a modified Veloster, Hyundai Veloster. So you guys could check that out. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Subscribe if you're not subscribed to the podcast. If you made it to here, you're already subscribed, and we appreciate your patronage, and we will see you then. Take care.
Bye.